Good day, senior high school students, and welcome back. I am your online math tutor, Ma'am Karin. I am so glad that you are here to join us in the next lesson for general mathematics. In this video, we will be talking about finding the domain and range of an exponential function. For the objective, that is to find the domain and range of an exponential function. What is the domain and range of an exponential function? The domain of an exponential function is the set of all possible x values of an exponential function. Yung lahat ng pwedeng maging values of x, that is the set of the domain, or that is the domain. Range. It is the set of all possible y values of an exponential function. Lahat ng mga pwedeng maging value ng y, that is what you call the range. Let's have example number 1. Find the domain and range of y equals 2 raised to x. Let us first determine the domain of the given function. When we say domain, these are the possible values of x. If we're going to consider the table of values of the given function, x, we have here 0 to 10. If we're going to substitute this to the given function, we can have these y values. In the second part of the table of values, given the x, negative 11 to negative 1, this will be the values of y. The least number here is negative 11 at yung mataas na number dito ay negative 1. Dito sa part ng table of values na to, given the function. The observations here are, in every value of x, there is a corresponding value of y. Hindi pwedeng walang value ng y if we're going to substitute a certain value of x in the given function. Palaging may corresponding value of y. Sinabi ko kanina na ang value of x ay nag-i-increase, yung value din ng y ay nag-i-increase. So if you're going to identify the domain of the given function, that is the set of real numbers. In rule form, that can be written as x such that x is an element of a real number. In interval form or interval notation, that can be written as open parenthesis, negative infinity to positive infinity, close parenthesis. Again, the domain in example 1 is the set of real numbers. What about the range of y equals 2 raised to x? Again, when we say range, ito yung mga posibleng value ng y sa given na function. If we're going to consider the graph of the given function, ito yun, we can say that the graph is increasing or rising to the right. As you can see, we're going to consider the x values from left to right, tumataas yung graph. So, sa example number 1, ang missing pa ay yung range. Pag sinabing range, ito yung mga posibleng values ng y. So, here, we're going to consider yung vertical line or yung y-axis. Sa y-axis, nandito yung mga values ng y. Dito sa graph ng function, makikita ninyo na parang didikit na yung sa second quadrant, parang didikit na yung graph sa x-axis or sa line na y equals 0. But if we're going to zoom it, makikita ninyo, hindi naman siya nakadikit. Okay? So here, you can say that the graph of the function will never touch the x-axis or the line y equals 0. So here, the range is y such that y is greater than 0. Or eto yung mga numbers na mas mataas sa 0. We can say that these numbers are positive numbers. Or it can be in the interval form or interval notation that can be written as 0. 0 is not included kasi yung graph hindi naman tatama sa x-axis or sa line y equals 0. Kaya yung 0 ay not included sa range. So open parenthesis 0 to positive infinity. Let's have example number 2. Find the domain and range of y equals 1/3 raised to x. Let us consider the table of values of the given function. As you can see, the value of x here from -2 to +2, that is increasing. But the value of f of x, 9, 3, 1, 1/3, 1/9, the values of y or f of x are decreasing. In every value of x here, there is a corresponding value of y, though nagdi-decrease siya. But may value pa din yung y. So here, we can say that the domain is the set of real numbers, or in rule form, that can be written as this: x such that x is an element of a real number. In interval notation or interval form, that can be written as from -infinity to +infinity. The range here, we're going to consider the graph. So ang titingnan lang natin yung y-axis na nandun yung mga y values. Kung makikita ninyo, yung graph ay bumaba or nag-decrease. That is dropping to the right. The graph will never touch the x-axis. Etong graph na to, this will never ever touch the x-axis or line y equals 0. So here, the range is y such that y is greater than 0. 0 is not included kasi nga yung graph hindi naman mag-cross or hindi naman magta-touch sa x-axis or sa line na y equals 0. This can be also written, the range, as 0 to +infinity. 0 is not included. So again, yung mga pwedeng i-consider lang natin na values ng y dito sa given na function, ito yung mga positive numbers greater than 0. Take note of this, considering example 1 and example number 2. Those functions in examples 1 and 2 are in the basic form, meaning their form are in the form y equals b raised to x only. So here, the value of the base where b is greater than 1 or between 0 and 1, it determines whether the graph is increasing or decreasing. When the base is greater than 1, the graph is increasing. As you can see in the graph in example number 1, the graph is rising to the right. If the base is between 0 and 1, that is decreasing. The graph of that is dropping to the right. The domain is the set of all real numbers, or in the interval notation, that can be written as -infinity to +infinity. The range of example 1 and example number 2, that is y such that y is greater than 0, or in interval form, that is 0 to +infinity. Here, 0 is not included in the set. Since na yung sa graph, the graph of the functions in examples 1 and 2 will never touch the x-axis or y equals 0. In example number 3, we're going to find the domain and range of the function y equals 1/3 raised to x minus 4. Kung dun sa examples 1 and 2, basic lang yung function dun, which is in the form y equals b raised to x, dito may dinagdag na sa basic function na y equals 1/3 raised to x na negative 4. If we're going to graph this function, that will be like this. As you can see, in the line y equals negative 4, parang didikit na yung graph na ito. Pero if you're going to zoom it, makikita mo na hindi naman dumikit yung graph sa line y equals negative 4. The graph will never touch y equals negative 4. Saan ba galing yung y equals negative 4? Dito sa function pa din, you can say na ano ba yung line na hindi tatouch yung or hanggang saan lang yung graph. You can observe the added constant in the given function or basic exponential function. Dito sa example number 3, ang dinagdag ay negative 4. So, dito sa line na y equals negative 4, hindi magko-cross or magta-touch yung graph. In every value of x, there is a corresponding value of y. So here, the domain is the set of real numbers or x such that x is an element of a real number, or it can be written as negative infinity to positive infinity. What about the range in example number 3? Kung titingnan natin yung graph, the graph never touches the line y equals negative 4. Titingin lang tayo dito sa y-axis. So, yung graph hanggang lang sa y equals negative 4. So, therefore, the range is y such that y greater than negative 4. So, from negative 4, lahat na yan pataas, yan na yung mga posibleng pwedeng maging value ng y. Negative 4 is not included in the set. If we're going to write that in the interval notation, that will be negative 4 to positive infinity. Negative 4 is not included. Please take note of this in example number 4. The domain of an exponential function is the set of all real numbers. This is always true. So sa kahit na anong exponential function na given, ang domain na palagi is the set of real numbers or negative infinity to positive infinity. Ito na yung palaging domain ng exponential function. In the exponential function in the form y equals a times b raised to x minus c plus d, the value of d, or eto, yung inad sa function, that gives clue about its range. Example number 4. Find the domain and range of y equals negative 2 times 2 raised to x minus 1. So here, this is the graph. Palagi na ang sagot natin pag sinabing domain, that is the set of real numbers, or in the rule form or interval notation, that is negative infinity to positive infinity. In determining the range, titingnan lang natin yung y-axis. Yung graph nitong function sa example number 4 ay falling to the right. Nasa lower portion siya ng Cartesian coordinate plane. Nasa 3rd quadrant and 4th quadrant. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung graph hanggang lang siya sa line y equals negative 1. Ang negative 1, ito yung dinagdag sa function na y. Or ito yung value ng d. d is equal to negative 1. That is the line na hindi magta-touch yung graph. If you're going to zoom, yung etong sa part na to, kung mapapansin ninyo, hindi naman siya nag-touch sa line y equals negative 1. The graph is below the line y equals negative 1, so therefore the range is y such that y is less than negative 1. Bakit less than? Kung makikita ninyo, yung y values, start siya from -1 hanggang pababa. Yung mga numbers na pababa ay mas mababa na sa -1. Kaya ang nandito na symbol ay less than -1. Or in interval notation, that can be written as from -infinity, yung pa-negative numbers na siya, to hanggang sa -1 lang. -1 is not included in the range. Kung mapapansin ninyo sa given na function, meron tayong ditong minultiply na -2 sa 2 raised to x. So kapag negative ang minultiply dito before 2 raised to x, that will be a graph na pababa or falling siya. Yung graph niya is falling. Nasa pababa yung graph. Please take note of this in example number 4. The domain of an exponential function is the set of all real numbers or -infinity to +infinity. In the exponential function, y is equal to a times b raised to x minus c plus d. The value of d gives clue about its range. Take note of that. In the exponential function also, if the value of a is a negative number, then the graph is falling. Kagaya nung sa example number 4. Let's have example number 5. Find the domain and range of y equals 2 times 3 raised to x plus 1. So here, yung number na minultiply sa 3 raised to x ay positive number. So ibig sabihin, the graph of this function is rising. So, hindi siya falling kasi positive yung 2. And here, yung value ng d is a positive number, which is positive 1. So, therefore, yung graph will never touch the line y equals 1. Okay, so the domain is the set of real numbers and the range is y such that y is greater than 1 or 1 to +infinity. 1 is not included in the set, so we have here parentheses. So in example number 5, if we're going to check whether the domain and range is correct, we can say that here in the graph of the example 5, the graph is rising or increasing. At yung graph hanggang lang sa line y equals 1. So from 1 to positive numbers or positive infinity, yan yung mga pwedeng maging value ng y or yung range. At yung sa domain naman, okay lang kahit anong real number. That is the domain. So let us find the domain and range of the given exponential function. Let's have number 1. F of x equals 4 raised to x. What is the domain of this? That is the set of real numbers. What about number 2? What is the domain? Again, the set of all real numbers. Sinabi ko kanina na ang domain ng lahat ng exponential function ay set of all real numbers. So, 3, 4, pareho din. That is in the interval form from -infinity to +infinity. Set of all real numbers. What about the range here from numbers 1 to 4? Let's start with number 1. F of x equals 4 raised to x. Since na itong number 1 ay in the form y equals b raised to x, the base is 4. 4 is greater than 1, so the graph of this is increasing. So ang range nito ay from 0 to +infinity. 0 is not included. Ang graph nito ay hindi magta-touch sa x-axis or sa line na y equals 0. Ang value ng d dito ay 0. So 0 yung range niya. Magsisimula sa 0, but 0 is not included to +infinity. Number 2, Letter D is -5 here. So number 2 na function. So the range is -5 to +infinity. Number 3, take note we have a negative value of A here. A is -1. So ibig sabihin ang graph ng number 3 ay falling. At ang value ng D ay 1/4. So yung graph niya ay hanggang sa 1/4 lang. Y equals 1/4. But then, yung graph ay falling. So, magsa-start tayo sa -infinity to 1/4. Sa number 4 naman, take note, letter A or A is +3. So, rising yung graph or increasing. And the value of D is -2. So, yung graph hanggang lang sa line Y equals -2. So, magsisimula tayo sa -2 to +infinity because A is a positive number. Kapag yung A ay negative, magsisimula tayo sa -infinity hanggang sa value ng D. Gumamit tayo ng parenthesis kasi yung katabing number, 0, -5, 1/4, and -2 are not included in the set of range.